Hey, hey, you now tuned in the queen, the hottest podcast you ever seen, called Heavy is the Crown. You know what's going down, it's Queen, the hottest podcast on the scene, give you facts you didn't know, headphones on the throat, this Queen, the hottest podcast you ever seen, straight kicking all the facts. You know we pro-black, it's Queen, the hottest podcast you ever seen, called Heavy is the Crown. You know what's going down. We're back with the 10th episode of Heavy is the Crown, hosted by none other than Queen. So it doesn't matter whether you came in through the front door, the back door, the window, or the attic. You're now tuned in live with Dane and Michael. And I'm officially a part of the show now. Yeah, I came to rock out with my sis, so yeah, it's a celebration. And if you enjoy hearing me, make sure you follow me on the gram at It's Dane and Michael. And of course, subscribe to the podcast. You can find the Queen on all media platforms like iHeartRadio. Or if you want to lock in with us right here on YouTube, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Maybe drop a topic that you want Queen to speak on in the comment section. Or even tell us about your favorite episode, alright? So without further ado, you know what we came to do. We about to start up the show. You know my sis with the fro. I say no further ado. You know what we came to do. We got a lot to discuss. I'm glad you rocking with us. Hey. Hey, look, we have a lot to discuss. So this is the part of the show where you pour that glass up with what you like to be poured. Get comfy the way you know how to get comfy. Because I'm going to go grab your host Queen from the green room. So if you're ready to get started, let me hear you say yeah. Yeah! Nah, louder than that. Let me hear you say yeah. Yeah! Because you officially tuned in to Heavy is the Crown, and give it up for Queen.
Yeah. Y'all already know what's going on. You already know the vibes. It's your girl Queen. You tune into Heavy is the Crown, and big shout out to Dane and Michael. And if you didn't know, now you know. When that man says that he's my brother, my blood brother, same mama, same daddy. Shout out to you, much love for joining Heavy is the Crown team. I love you the real kind, you know that. Y'all don't even understand right now. I'm real happy. I don't know if y'all can hear me like smiling from ear to ear. This is episode 10, and I'm so happy. I'm so excited. It's a little check off the list. It's good to feel yourself being consistent and actually seeing results. Kind of like when you first start going to the gym and it's a little shaky. You know, them reps, you might have to lessen them reps. You feel me? Because it's a little hard. But then once you keep doing it on your own, you know, it just gets easier and easier. So I definitely want to just shout out all my listeners, all of my supporters, anyone who's ever tuned in, anyone who's ever told a friend about my show or a family member, anyone who's ever reposted. I appreciate you. As I said, it's the 10th episode of Heavy is the Crown. I mean, I'm getting finer every day. Melanin is popping. I mean, everyone needs to stop what they're doing right now. Follow me on Instagram at _ Heavy is the Crown. Heavy is the Crown. We now have merch for sale. So please go on Instagram, slide in my DM, get you a little hoodie or whatever, you know, help a sister out. You know, we got to support each other. On this episode, on last episode, I did introduce a new segment entitled Talk to Me, featuring comedian T. White, who is currently based in Atlanta. Shout out to him. On this episode, I'm super gassed as well. I had an opportunity to have a conversation with the legend author, Omar Tyree. You may know or be familiar with a few of his books. You know, he has a lot. One that really stands out for everyone seems to be Flyy Girl. We're going to get him on the line definitely in a bit. However, you know I got to get into some things. Y'all know I got to get into some black things. You know, a lot has been going on, especially here in the DMV. You know, brother Joey Joe Biden and Killer Kim, Kamala Harris, they are now in the big house. And, you know, a lot of people have been getting upset with me because I'm very open with my opinions. I think I lost at least 2 associates over the since Joey Joe and Killer Cam have moved into the big house. I'm pretty sure I've lost at least 2 associates. Such as life. Before I say this, let me just preference and say that it is a beautiful thing, always a beautiful thing to see Black people in high places, so to speak. However, all skin folk ain't kinfolk. And let me tell you something about Queen. I'm not going to tap dance for anyone. I'm not going to bite my tongue for anyone. I'm going to be respectful. However, I'm also going to give it to you real. I'm not going to get all into Killer Cam's, history as a defense attorney or as a prosecutor, or I'm not going to get into the fact that she is responsible for sending a lot of Black people, Black men, to jail for football numbers, for very small crimes. Not really interested in getting into the fact that Mr. Joey Joe Biden helped write the 1994 crime bill, which also led to mass incarceration of Black people. I really just want to know, what are Black people so excited about? I'm also curious how long this excitement will last, because realistically, Black people as a whole, as a unit, we are not loyal. I mean, we switch up on folks real fast. Okay? I mean, you saw what we did to Obama. Okay? We loved them. We loved them up. And then what happened? Obama ain't do nothing for Black people. He ain't do this. He ain't do that. But that's a totally different story. I just want to see how long it's going to take for Black people to really show Joey Joe and Killer Cam, just to put the pressure on them. Because right now, I just think we're doing a little bit too much celebrating. And I don't really know what we're celebrating, to be honest. And no one can really tell me, besides the fact that Killer Cam, Kamala Harris, has some Black DNA in her, which I don't even know if she's positive that she knows that. I mean, she is an AKA. Shout out to that. The good brother Killer Mike campaigned with Biden. I think that I think anyone who's, knowledgeable or keeping up, in the hip hop community, or even just in politics, we all know that Killer Mike is a Democrat. He's very open about it. This man, Joey Joe Biden, hasn't been in office for more than a week. Killer Mike is tweeting stuff because apparently he's upset with a statement or a phrase that Joey Joe Biden used. I'm confused as to why he's upset about or triggered by any phrase that Joey Joe used. Before Joey Joe moved into the big house, he was on the Breakfast Club and he clearly stated, "You're not Black if you don't vote for me, for Joey Joe Biden," which I thought was very inappropriate, because who the hell is this white man to tell me that I'm not Black because I don't vote for him? But, I digress. Why are us Black people still looking for saving from white people? From anyone else? Why do we yearn for acceptance from white people, essentially, from America? Why? Killer Cam, Kamala, already told us she isn't doing anything for Black people. But I digress again. I realize that I can't have certain conversations with Black people who still have a slave mentality. And I know that some people get triggered, Black people get triggered if you say they have a slave mentality. That's not really my concern. But chucking and jiving and being so happy for absolutely nothing. Breonna Taylor's murderers still haven't been reprimanded. I can name so many things, and as far as police brutality, that hasn't been a conversation. And I mean, I could be Joey Joe and Killer Cam. They could prove me to be a liar soon, but I'll wait and see. One more thing before I get off of this. Before I get off of this topic, that's really just mind-boggling to me, is when I hear Black people say that Trump was the most racist, excuse me, that Trump was the most racist president that America's had. First of all, my peers, we've just started seeing overt racism, if that's what you want to call it. I mean, if you've been living under a rock, we've just started seeing it. However, I just don't understand that statement that Trump is the most racist president that we've ever had. I got 3 words: Jim Crow laws. Everyone who's saying that this is the worst, this is the most racist, we didn't have to live in no Jim Crow law era. For all the slow people in the back, there was a president in the White House at that time. What Trump did is he put a battery in poor white people's backs that they're actually important to society for just being white. That's what he did. And I actually appreciate him for that. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather somebody tell me to my face that they don't like me versus someone fake and whole time behind my back, they are concocting an entire plan to fuck me over. And by no means am I a Trump supporter. By no means am I bigging him up. I don't care if he pardoned Lil Wayne or Kodak or whomever else he pardoned. Pardon my cousins, goddammit. Pardon me. Excuse me, listeners. Pardon my language. However, I do appreciate him for allowing the poor trailer trash whites to have some confidence, because they've been lacking in confidence for quite some time. So it's happy. Bring them out. Bring them out. Doesn't make me feel uncomfortable at all. However, moving on, as I said, I do have a guest today, legendary New York Times bestseller author Omar Tyree. I want to talk to him about Flyy Girl. I want to talk to him about what he's doing now. I want to see Flyy Girl as a movie. So let me get him on the line. Let's see what he has to say. It's heavy as the crown.
Yep, Tyree.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. Yeah.
Good. Well, first of all, I just want to start off by saying thank you. Showing my gratitude for even taking the time out to have a conversation with me. I don't know if you realize it or not. I'm pretty sure you do. You are a legend, to a lot of us. Almost all of us book readers, any book reader that reads urban books, you are a legend to us. So I'm honored. To all my listeners, you may not know who I have on the line right now. New York Times best-selling author. I mean, you have so many accolades, I can't name all of them. The author of Flyy Girl, legendary book, where you have like 25 plus books, For the Love of Money, Boss Lady, Just Say No, Leslie, which is a personal favorite of mine. You've dubbed yourself as the old head. The old head. I see you got I think you've added rapper to your, collection of talents here. But let's just start from the beginning, Mr. Omar Tyree. You grew up in Philly, correct?
Right. And to clear this up for everybody, old head is a regular term for Philadelphia. Old heads and young boys. We use that all the time, so it's not something unusual for people that don't know Philadelphia. We say old head every single day. It's my old head. It's the old head. The old head said this. Oh, we grew up with that. You know what I mean? So it's not at all something that's alien at all.
Right. I love it, though. I love when you post it on your page. So when you were growing up in Philly, I want to talk about that a little bit. So when you were growing up, did you always know that you wanted to be a writer?
No, I was a regular athlete, regular Philadelphian, getting in fights, stealing stuff. Always in trouble. My mother sent me to Catholic school to clean some of that stuff up and got me on the academic level. But I wasn't reading anything. Then we had, and I was in Catholic school, we had this reading, I guess they call it like a reading hour or 30 minutes at the end of school. And I had this friend named Albert Branch who used to read comic books. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to read comic books. I started reading comic books in the 4th grade, but that was about it. I wasn't reading outside of that. You know, regular homework assignments. You know, I was a typical boy. Math and science I was good at, you know, not the reading stuff. So that didn't happen until later. But I was always a storyteller, always. I always had a great memory, and I always could regurgitate stuff. I was always doing voices and all that kind of stuff. So I was always a storyteller, but I was not a reader. I was a typical boy, rough and tumble, athletic, with all the other dudes, you know what I mean? So when I became a writer, they was all like, dude, you writing books now? The boy playing football with us, fighting with us, running the streets, you know. But, yeah, I was always a storyteller. But I was not, you know, people had never heard me speak and whatnot, but I never was, you know, like some inside nerd hanging in the house. No, I was outside running and tumbling, you know what I mean? But, again, I always understood how to tell stories.
So when you began your college career or education, you started at University of Pittsburgh, correct?
Yeah.
And
football.
You ended up graduating.
Football and track.
I'm sorry?
Howard. Football and track. That's why I went to Pittsburgh. Football and track. You know, I was in the athletics. I played football and ran track in high school, and that's what I wanted to do at Pitt. And when I got there, you know, you find out the politics of the college students, and particularly the athletes, and how they use and abuse black students. You know what I mean? So that I really became political and radical at that point at Pittsburgh. You know, and that's where I became like, if you ever seen the movie School Days, I was like the Lawrence Fishburne character that
right.
had something to say about everything, you know. So that's how I became that radical dude at Pittsburgh. Yeah.
And then so after that, you transferred to Howard. Why
right.
Howard? I mean,
number one, man, I want to be competitive. It's competitive, man. You know, and then it was in D.C., which was Chocolate City. Everybody talked about Chocolate City and all that. So I was like, yo, I get to go to a black school in Chocolate City. You can't top that. You know what I mean? So I was all in, definitely.
Were you writing before you got to Howard? Because I read that you were the first student at Howard to have your own column in the paper there.
Yeah, by the time I got to Howard, I had opened up to writing at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh was where I started it, you know, where teachers asked me to do a student diary. And so I had the diary of a freshman that I put in Pittsburgh, put that together. And so I was already writing by the time I got to Howard. So, yeah, when I got to Howard, that's when I was focused on, you know, doing the author thing, you know, but not at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh was where it started. Howard was where I finished it, you know what I mean, got really serious.
Food for Thought, right? The name of your column. At Howard. Yeah. Right. It's funny that you described yourself as a radical because that's exactly what I got from you when I was doing this research on you. You even had, I thought that Flyy Girl was your first book, and I had to stand corrected. Your first book was called Colored on White Campus.
Right. And that's for all the black students that go to predominantly white schools and try to get along. As we kept saying that at Pittsburgh, we just want to get along. We need to get along with white folks. You know, it's like, and when you do that, you actually become less competitive because you're thinking more about getting along than competing. And so that's why a lot of the, you know, top-notch black folks actually are still graduating from black schools because you get a chance to compete and want to compete and want to lead instead of trying to just get along all the time, you know. So, you know, and so I went to Howard. That's where all the movers and shakers and go-getters were, you know. And my Pittsburgh people, they still doing that thing, but they don't have that domination and assertion that, you know, HBCU students have when they're allowed to be leaders on campus in school ground. You know what I mean? So that's where the difference is. You still got HBCU students who come out with intelligent muscle wanting to lead because they've been able to do that for 4 and 5 years of school.
Absolutely. I went to a HBCU. I went to Norfolk when I first
in Virginia.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What's that, the green and gold?
Green and gold. Behold the green and gold. I was a cheerleader as well. And but I finished my education in Los Angeles. I went to a design school, and it was such a culture shock for me because I come from the DMV. I was raised in Prince George's County in Maryland, and you know, around all black people, you know, and so me going to this rich white school, it was a shocker for me. And so to hear you say that, you know, you just want to get along, and I went through so many different things. I went on Amazon, and I'm definitely getting that book to check it out.
Yeah,
it sounds very, very.
Well, it's now called College Boy. So we changed the title to College Boy, and it's in my Urban Griot series, GRIOT. So there's you know, that it got swallowed up. So we put a new title on it, new cover. Simon & Schultz put it out, you know, pushed it, you know. So now it's called College Boy in my Urban Griot series, if you want to find it.
Absolutely. Thank you for that information. I'll definitely be getting that. So being that you are in tune with, you know, the black culture, I mean, we can all hear it in your voice. I mean, if you've ever read an Omar Tyree book, you will know that as well. With the mistreatment, the public, more public mistreatment of black people that we've been seeing with social media and the news and these camera phones, has that inspired you at all to write about that in a book form at all?
Not in a book form. I did an album for all the people that, you know, got the whole, you know, Pandora or Deezer or Spotify or Apple Music. I did an album called The Last Summer, where we did music that connected to what was going on this summer. So you can grab that. And I had a compilation, so I had young people on there trying to get them to comment on it. A lot of them were apolitical, you know what I mean? It's not anywhere near as political as black people have been in the past, you know what I mean? They're more concerned about their money now. They want their money, and that's it. You know what I mean? So they're not trying to rock the boat. They're trying to get their money. That bag is what the young people talk about every day, all day. The bag, you know. So I was trying to get them to focus on stuff. You know, I'm a focus on it. I'm from the old guard, you know. But, you know, trying to get the younger people to really take that stuff as importantly as they should, that's the real challenge now. You know what I mean? To get them to feel that way. You know, but for me, definitely, I mean, I wanted to write stuff, but book form is not doing what it used to do. We don't read like that. We got a lot of distractions, and the cell phone is your main distraction now. You know what I mean? Because you got so many gadgets on your cell phone and social media, you know, so now the attention span keeps getting weaker and weaker and weaker when you start talking about a book form. And I don't want to spend all that time writing the book and then complaining because people ain't reading it. And so now I have to move into film and music because that's where our people are paying more attention to what's going on. So I have to move over there, you know, and then I have to utilize young people because now we got this whole age thing going on where you can't be over 35 and mean nothing, you know what I mean? Unless you
right.
So I got to be the boss because if you ain't the boss, they ain't trying to do nothing with you, you know. So that's where I'm at.
I watched I watched the Frontline music video, and I was going to get into that a little later. But I saw that, and I love that. I saw the young people, the young girl. And were you rapping before, or, like, did you rap back in your heyday, or was it just something you was like, I'm going to get in the booth and just try it?
In the 90s, I started doing spoken word poetry over instrumental jazz music. And I met Jill Scott in the poetry clubs in Philadelphia before she started writing music and blew up in music in the late 90s. This is the mid-90s when we were all doing our poetry, when poetry was hot, you know what I mean? And so I started writing to jazz music, and jazz music is very moody, instrumental, and it gives you a lot of direction on what to write, you know, because when you listen to jazz music, it's very temperamental. You hear what they're trying to do with it because there's no words with jazz. So with it being no words, you really have to listen to the music. So once I started listening to instrumental hip-hop, it was the same thing. I'm listening to the tone of the music, you know, and so a lot of people, they just try to force their style on the music. I pretty much adapt to what the music is telling me to do. So if it's radical music, I'm going to write a radical poem, a radical song. If it's beautiful music, I'm going to write a beautiful poem. So I really read the music. And so once I started doing that for hip-hop, then I started, you know, fiddling with hip-hop. But back then I was all into the book career, so it was like more of a hobby thing. But now that the book career is not where it's going to be You know what I mean? I can't push it on folks like that. Now I come back to the music, but I really didn't want to be on a lot of songs on that last summer album. I couldn't get young people to comment on what's going on. They all wanted to do gangster music, strip club music, sex music. I'm like, yo, dude, that's not the move right now, man. What's going on? And so I ended up having to do half the album because I couldn't find the young people in Charlotte, at least, who were willing to create songs that meant anything for what was going on this summer. They are really apolitical, man. It's amazing. But they're really not thinking about the issues. They want their bag. You know what I mean? And I was paying them, too. It wasn't free. But they was like, I don't want to do that. Oh, no, I don't care. I was like, wow, you guys don't have nothing.
Wow.
And think about it. What's the boy name? Lil Baby from Atlanta. He was the only person that had a major song this summer that dealt with the issues with that Bigger Picture song. That was it.
Right.
So just imagine that.
Mm-hmm.
All these rappers, and not even three of them had major songs that said anything about what was going on this year. It's ridiculous. But that's what we're looking at now. Apolitical, give me my bag and get out my way. I don't want to talk politics and that black stuff. I want to be a pop artist. You know, so then they talk about their pop artists instead of soul artists and rap artists and black artists. They thinking about, you know, the whole crossover thing. That's what it is now. So I'm trying to get more people who are soulistic and people who are more conscious about the black movement because we need more of that. And it got to be funky. You can't just be preaching. So it got to be hot music and hot delivery. So, you know, I'm going to be doing that as the maestro like Quincy Jones. That's what I keep talking about. He produced a lot of stuff for other people. Quincy Jones never rapped or sang or none of that stuff. He was producing with great ideas for other people. So that's what I really want to be doing as a writer and as a visionary and as a producer, not really rapping myself.
I have to talk about Flyy Girl. We have to talk about this book. Like, so when you wrote this book, did you know what you had? Like, did you know that it was going to be what it is?
Well, you always think that way when you have confidence and an ego, you know what I mean? You want your book to be blown up and big. I actually wanted it to be bigger than what it is. You know, we wanted to have a film by now. We wanted to sell millions of copies, and people were passing it around more than buying it, you know what I mean? Because, again, we just weren't sophisticated in a book way. So you had a lot of young people that they getting it from the library, passing it around. They didn't know that I'm losing power by you not buying the book. Because at the end of the day, the movie people are going to ask how many copies did you sell, not how many copies were read. And so I'm in this crazy quagmire where more people read the book than bought the book. So now I'm saying stuff like, 8 million copies read, but only 800 copies, 800,000 copies sold. So that hurts you in a way. But, our people, one time I had that comment, and I said it to some girls out of Hartford, Connecticut, and they actually got upset with me. And they were like, well, we read your book, now you mad because we didn't buy it. And I didn't say it in a malicious way. I was just telling them, like, when you guys buy the book, it gives me more power and clout, you know what I mean? So people know that it was valuable to you. But when you're passing it around, they can't tell that. So I was just telling them that they actually got upset because they didn't understand what I'm trying to say about capitalism and economics. It's always about the numbers, So that's the thing that Flyy Girl was weird that way, where a lot of people read it, millions, but I only sold 800,000, copies because they were passing them around and bragging about it versus buying their own,
Right.
Yep.
Wow. You know what? I took a lot of the books that I read from you. I took them from my father's library, and I apologize. I really didn't think about that at that time. I mean, I was a very young person, but yeah, that's
right.
And that is a perspective that I didn't think about at first. What inspired you to write the story about Tracy?
People have this idea that that's just one person. That's actually a combination of several girls. You know what I mean? The look, the body size, the attitude, the jewelry, the way she lived. You combine a whole lot of different girls to create that one character. That wasn't just one person. You know what I mean? We had a lot of Flyy Girl. There was a song called Flyy Girl from these Brooklyn rappers called the Boogie Boys. You know what I mean? And you guys can look that up, Flyy Girl with one Y. And that was a song that came out in 1985 that gave me the title of the song.
Mm-hmm.
But we had Flyy Girls everywhere in Philadelphia. That was normal. In the 80s, that's the way we were. And I lived in an area called Mount Airy, where black people had moved up. They call it Uptown now, Mount Airy, Germantown, West Oak Lane. And we had moved up. That was where the black people had moved into white areas, and then white folks moved out, and then we took those areas over. And then when the 80s came, we had a little bit more money, not big money, but enough money to buy jewelry and fancy clothes, and then look extra, get your teeth fixed, get your hair done, all that stuff. So we was extra in the 80s. You know, Will Smith will tell you, we was extra. And that school we went to, Overbrook High School, that was in West Philly, another high school that was extra fly like that. You know, so Will Smith, you ask Will Smith, everybody wanted to be fly in Philadelphia if you could afford it in the 80s. You know, so of course when we do the movie, it has to be done in the 80s because people are nowhere near as fly as we were in the 80s. Don't even think about it. We were fly as hell in the 80s.
Absolutely. You know? Absolutely. You're right. We mimic, you know, I was born in 88, so I wasn't a part of that. But yeah, we mimic you all a lot.
Yeah. So you got to show y'all that. When I do the movie, I got to show y'all how fly we were. And it's everybody. Now, the fly people were really the athletes and the rappers. In my era in the 80s, every person, if you could afford it, you want to buy some jewelry and some fancy clothes and be fly. You didn't have to be no rapper, no athlete, you know? And so that's the difference in now versus then, you know? Now it's like you got to be a rapper before you put gold chains on. You know what I mean? In fact, women don't seem to put nothing on now. Think about it. Girls don't even wear jewelry like that. You know what I mean? I'm like, wow. You know, in the 80s, every girl had a dog tag or some kind of chain around her neck and rings on her fingers and them big earrings, door knockers, we call them. Now, y'all don't do – some of the girls do that for nostalgia. You know, they go back like, I'm into McCloskey. But outside of that, y'all ain't nowhere near as fly as our girls were in the 80s. Y'all don't even do that. The guys are flyer than the girls are now. You know?
That's true. That is true. You brought up films. Will we see a Flyy Girl film? I feel like I read that Sanaa Lathan was supposed to play. I don't know if those were rumors. It doesn't seem it was too long ago that I heard this. Will we be seeing a film of Flyy Girl in the future?
If I don't pass away in the next couple of years, I'm going to do everything in my power when I start making these smaller films to get the money and the momentum I need to make it happen. Because you guys got to understand, nobody is putting money on that movie to do it right now. So as much as you talk about it, there's no Hollywood people that's like, hey, let me do Flyy Girl. They don't think like that. They're looking at what's hot right now. So if Flyy Girl's not being read right now, they're not really paying attention to it. So it's going to be me that's going to do it. You know what I mean? Because other than that, nobody's really paying attention to me the way you guys do. You know, so if I don't do it, and if you don't support the other projects that I'm coming out with, and I don't have momentum, it's going to be hard to get it done because money people, that's all they want to know. What's your numbers? What's going on right now? They don't want to hear nothing about this is a classic, this legend. They don't want to hear that stuff. They want to hear what are the numbers doing right now. So if I don't have new momentum with something, some activity that boosts my name and boosts whatever I'm doing with music and the other films I'm going to do, it's going to be hard to make that Joker, you know, because they all about what have you done lately, you know?
Right.
And it hasn't done anything lately. So, you know, you got to keep pushing in that position to create my own money and my own momentum to do it. Sanaa Lathan, she was connected to an older vehicle. We had Lionsgate, had the rights for a minute, and they were going to do a film, but they were concerned about, you know, teenagers and not having a star, so they wanted to do the older version, which is For the Love of Money and Boss Lady. They weren't really trying to do the younger version, but when they started shopping around for directors, the directors were all like, dude, they want the teenage book, not when she grew up. What are you talking about? And so then they had to regroup and think about doing a younger version. They didn't even know how to write the screenplay. I had to write the screenplay, you know what I mean? Which you can read on Amazon Prime. It's called Flyy Girl, the Epic Screenplay by Omar Tyree. So you can read my idea for it. And they couldn't even write a screenplay in Hollywood because they didn't understand the material like I do. You know, so it's not going to get done if I don't do it. So you guys waiting around talking about, how come they didn't? It's no they. There is no they. If I can't do it, it's going to happen. There is no they. They're not doing it. The whole Tyler Perry thing. So it's not going to happen.
And how can we contribute to making this happen?
A movie I'm doing now, the Minor Laws joint that's on Amazon Prime, you support that. The last summer album I just put out in the summer, and then the new stuff I'm going to do. I'm on a film right now called Money Talks Louder. You got to support that. And then I want to do a new compilation album called The Philadelphians, where I big up my own city and then work with artists and rappers and singers and soul people and poetry people all from Philadelphia. I'm going to try to do 25 and under, but some of them are older, you know what I mean? But, yeah, up and coming Philadelphians. So, I'm going to be like the Quincy Jones. And if those things do well and I have momentum from my name, because you got to understand, the way things are set up now with the social media and the young people, they look at the brand of your name for everything. They don't look at one product. So it's not like they look at Beyonce and look at one album. No, they look at Beyonce in totality and say Beyonce is a brand. Everything she do is a brand. That's how they look at people now. So if they look at me and say Omar's not a brand, people don't care about him, they only care about the book, then they're not going to do it. I have to be a brand. And there's no way of getting around that because your generation has created this new brand thing now. So if I'm not a brand and Omar Tyree's name can't move anybody in theaters, can't move anybody to the stores, can't move anybody online, then they're looking at it like, yo, dude, your time has passed, you're a legend, but you might as well be in the graveyard because you can't move anybody now. And that's the problem with the social media and the whole analytics game that they play. If you don't have anything new to push those analytics, they don't want to deal with you. So it's tough.
And may you repeat again to the list for my listeners where they can, you said the monologues is on Amazon Prime, where they can also.
Amazon Prime. Yep. And then the music, if you got download music, all you got to do is type in the last summer, Omar Tyree, and it'll pop up. Anything you download is going to pop up. But a lot of times, knowing is half the battle. You got to know that I did that album. You got to know where to find it. So, yeah, now your folks will know, and then they have to pass on the word. We got to support what Omar's doing because if he doesn't have a brand in our era, nobody cares about that book Flyy Girl. They don't. The people that have the money to help me to produce the movie, they're going to say, what's the analytics for Flyy Girl now? And if it doesn't have any analytics now or numbers now, they're like, well, I'm not putting my money on it. You know, so I have to put the money on it because I know what it's going to do once I do the movie. But the people that don't know it like we do, they're looking at my followership. And they look at my Instagram and say, man, you got less than 10,000 followers. I said, yeah, I'm an old man. They're not following me. They follow themselves. They follow other young people. But if I do that movie, now they're going to follow me because they want to know more about the movie and all that kind of. So it's one of those catch-22s where my product is more important than my brand right now. It's not just Drake's music, it's Drake the brand. You see me? And that's the way it works. And your generation has created that. There was nothing I can do about that. It ain't about the product no more. It's about the person. So if I'm not, you know, hot and popping for you guys as a person, then it's like we don't care about that Flyy Girl vehicle. They don't care about you. So they don't care about you. And that's the sad thing about what's going on right now. Because if you really look at what happened with Black Panther, right? Ryan Coogler, he was hot, but he didn't even have an Instagram. He wasn't thinking about no damn social media numbers. He's just doing his films. And when they came to him with Black Panther, he said, look, if I can't do it my way, I'm not doing it at all. So he put his power down on the table, and they said, okay, and then we got a $1 billion movie. And he ain't got no analytics like we talk about analytics with numbers on it. He just has skill, the same way I have skill. But in this new era that your generation started, they only want to see numbers, so they don't care about your skills. And so it's a challenge. It's a real challenge.
Why do you think that we got to see a film of, like, True to the Game? Because if you were to ask me my opinion, I feel like I know that I would name at least 3, and I love that book. I enjoyed the films as well. I just, in my humble and personal opinion, I could name 3 books off the top of my head that I would want to see a film of before True to the Game. You know, why is that? Why is that, you know?
True to the Game was cheaper. Let me explain it. It was cheaper to do. It only made, let's round it up to $2 million, less than $2 million. There ain't nowhere in the world Flyy Girl gonna make $2 million. We talking about $200 million. But that's the deal. It was easier to make, easier to get the deal done, And so, yeah, if a person come to me and say, I got $200,000, can I do Flyy Girl? I'm like, hell no. Yeah, not with $200,000, but you can do True to the Game with money like that. And so that's the difference. And she had people that were next to her that wanted to do the deal and the whole nine. You know, they can't get to me next with that kind of deal with low money like that. So it's just a situation where it's not enough money to do the film correctly. And then people were complaining about True to the Game, you know what I mean, because it wasn't done correctly because the budget wasn't there to do it like it needs to be done. And so I'm never going to do that. Never. You know, you will never see Flyy Girl done incorrectly. So it would just still be a book. But that's the difference. You know, when you talk about Sister Soldier's Coldest Winter Ever and My Flyy Girl, you talking about a bigger level of filmmaking where you got to put more money on the table to get it done right. And Sister Soldier is very much the same way I am. She's not settling for anything. It's not going to happen. So you're not going to see The Coldest Winter Ever either because you can't get past Sister Soldier talking about we're going to put $500,000 on the table. Sister Soldier, like, you out your daggone mind. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because it takes more to do the films correctly. And so we don't want y'all complaining about why you let them mess up Flyy Girl, why you let them mess up Coldest Winter Ever. That's what's going to happen if they don't put enough money on the table because now you got to cut corners instead of doing the film the way you read the book, you know, and that's what's going to happen. You're going to end up with an 80s playground scene with 10 people in it. Let me tell you something. By the time it gets 1 o'clock, there's 200-300 people at the playground. So you got to have money for all them extras, and they got to wear the 80s gear. And when people hear that, oh, that's too expensive. But if it's a white movie, you're going to do it. So we still get that stuff for black movies. Oh, that's too expensive for a black movie. And they always trying to shortchange our stuff. And so that's why it's going to be harder to do Flyy Girl and Coldest Winter Ever. We can't allow those films to be coded because they're black films and they don't feel that we should put enough money down. You know what I mean? It's too expensive to do. It's ridiculous. That's like doing Harry Potter with no magic. You know you got to do the magic. You know?
Right.
That's like doing Black Panther with no science. If you read the comic book, you know they were the most advanced scientific community on earth. So you got to have all that technology they had in the movie. And if you tell somebody, well, we can't afford that technology, well, you can't do Black Panther then because the whole damn comic book was about black technology. So you had to have that fancy stuff in there, and it costs money to do that. And that's the difference between Flyy Girl, Coldest Winter Ever, and True to the Game, and some of the other books that are not as big in scope as Flyy Girl and, you know, Coldest Winter Ever. You know, that's why it's going to be way harder to get those movies done because they ain't a couple $100,000. They're multi-million-dollar movies, and they're going to make hundreds of millions of dollars. You know, but the people that don't know that, they don't know. They think it's going to make $20 million. They got no idea. I'm like, dude, if I do that movie the way I want to do it, girls are going to watch it 4 and 5 times in the movie. They're going to go every weekend. Like, I'm going to go again. I'm going to see it again. I'm going to see it again. Because I already know they read it like that 5 or 6 or 7 times. So I know they're going to do the same thing with the film if you do it correctly. But if you don't do it correctly, it wasn't done by that. You're going to lose money. So you have to do it correctly. Then you're going to gain money for the rest of your life. It's going to be a classic. That's why you can't shortchange it.
Absolutely. It's funny that you say that because before I got in contact with you and we confirmed this interview, I started reading. I'm reading For the Love of Money again. I mean, it's like my 4th time reading it. So
right.
That's definitely a fact. It's sitting right on my coffee table. So what about casting calls and things like that? How can actors and actresses look out for that? Should they be following your Instagram?
I mean, you're talking about for the smaller independent film, yeah, you want to follow the Instagram, and that helps me out, too. Can I get to 10,000? Can fans help me get to 10,000? I've been on 8,000 for 2 years, you know, so, yeah, that kind of stuff counts in this new world. There's no way around it, man. I had an argument with a friend that he has millions of dollars. I'm trying to get him to invest in my movies, and this dude's talking about analytics. And I'm like, dude, I don't need analytics. I already got the brand name, dude. I don't have to start back from scratch. So I showed him, you know, my phone. And all the people listening, you don't believe me, Google my name. Just type in OmarTyree on your phone, and all this list of stuff will pop up. just like it does for your favorite musicians who have analytics. So I don't need those numbers on Instagram to do that because I've done the work already. I've done the work. Right. So I don't need fans and followers for no reason. You're fans and followers because I did something that you like. I've done that already. But now they're backwards where they actually want me to have new numbers to substantiate something new. And I'm like, no, if we do the movie, that's new. That's what they're going to do the new numbers for. But I can't be out here, hey, I'm Omar Tyree. Remember me? I'm a legend. Follow me. They don't care about that. I'm not no young dude. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be doing silly stuff to bring them numbers in, talking about my relationships and getting in fights and celebrity gossip. That's a lot of the nonsense that people got to do. Even Jay-Z talking about his marriage with Beyonce, he didn't want to do that. We all know how introverted Jay-Z is. He ain't trying to do that, but he did that for the publicity. He did that to make sure everybody still knows that he's still part of the pop era and all that kind of stuff. He didn't want to do that nonsense, but he set up all them damn interviews strategically to make sure that people knew that Jay-Z is still part of pop culture. You know, that's ridiculous. So we had to do all that stuff that he didn't want to do, right, to let y'all know, oh, Jay-Z's still cool and he's having problems with Beyonce and his marriage and his family. Yeah, it's crazy. He didn't want to do that, but that's the new world that we live in, your world, the new social media generation, as I call y'all. Well, you want to know all the personal business. They want to know all your personal business. Who is Omar dating? Who's he creeping with? Who's he sleeping with? What young girl got him over? That's more important than anything I'm doing creatively, and that's sad.
Well, here on Heavy is the Crown, we're going to get you a few more followers. Everyone, please follow Omar Tyree on Instagram, only one Omar Tyree. We're going to get you some followers, okay?
Thank you. Thank you. Can I get 10,000? We need 2,000 people.
I got you.
Actually, I need 1,400 because I'm at 8,600. 1,400, and I can get the 10K, baby, and I'm going to brag about it. Thanks for giving me the 10K, guys. Thank you. I've been stuck on 8,000 for 2 years.
Absolutely. Yep. No, so I wanted to ask, though, because you did say you don't want to, you say you don't want to write the books anymore, really, because the book industry isn't the same, and you don't want to take all that time to write, you know, a book.
Yeah, imagine that. Just think about this. Think about this for all the women listening right now. Think about running to the store and buying all these groceries and getting excited and cooking for 2 hours and nobody show up to eat your food.
Mhm.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. I can't get excited like I used to if we're gonna have 20 people reading the book at the end of it.
I absolutely
I gotta do something else. Yeah.
About how long does it take to write a book for you?
2 to 4 months. So the median would be 3 months.
Interesting. So out of all your books catalogs, though, which is your favorite?
Just Say No. The masculine boy in a singing career, that's crazy. You got a singing career like Chris Brown, like R. Kelly, like back in the day, Sam Cooke. You know, you got all the Teddy Pendergrass. You got Marvin Gaye. I mean, women lose their minds for singers, man. And so I wrote that book knowing how crazy it was. John Loverboy Williams. That's my favorite book. Leslie is my favorite character. A lot of people on the Flyy Girl thing, Flyy Girl would be number 5, all the way down to number 5, you know, but it's my city, so I got to represent my city for the movie and protect Flyy Girl because I'm protecting my city. You know what I mean? I'm very proud of my city of Philadelphia, so I have to protect Flyy Girl in that way. But it would be like my number 5 book as far as my favorites are concerned. You know, my top one is Just Say No. Leslie would be number 2, the book, but the character is my number 1. And then after that, I got a book called Pecking Order that I really love about business and the, you know, whole hustle gang. And then I got a book called The Last Street Novel, which is a Harlem, New York book that I would love to have A$AP Rocky in that movie. You know what I mean? That would be great. And then Michael Ealy would be in the Pecking Orders movie, light-skinned boy crossing over. You know, out there in the West Coast. You know, and then Flyy Girl would be number 5. But a lot of people haven't read those other books, you know, and a lot of times what happens is that they got this whole, I guess, relatability. Since it's a female and they think about Flyy Girl connecting to them, they read things they can relate to instead of reading just great stories. Because I look at, like, Leslie is a great story, but you may not relate to her because you may not be as crazy as she turned out to be because
Right.
of New Orleans poverty and all that. So you like, I ain't like her, but it's a great story. You know what I mean? So
I love
my
that
thing
book.
is like, yo, read great stories, not just try to relate everything to you all the time. Everybody's not like you. Just read a great story about a person that's different. You know, and that's one of the problems that I have with the readership. They love Flyy Girl because it's a girl and it's like them. But I'm like, with reading, you should be able to read any great book and say, damn, this is a great book. It's a great delivery, great character. And so a lot of times I feel like I was a one-hit wonder because people only talk about Flyy Girl, and I'm like, yo, I have books that are good books. So yeah, you got to spread it out and love the other characters. Like the characters I'm writing right now in this book, Money Talks Louder, excellent. 2 female characters, one in college and one in the streets. And they both raw and excellent. I'm going to love these 2 characters, but I got to get the money to do it. And then when y'all see it, damn, Omar's good. Because I know it already. But y'all stuck on Flyy Girl right now because they read that, and lots of them, it's the only book they read. They didn't even read my other book, so they can't even make a comparison with the
Right.
Leslie and the Sweet St. Louis and Just Say No and all the others, you know. But yeah, it's great that they love Flyy Girl, but read some of the other stuff too.
As I said earlier, Leslie, I would have to say that's probably my favorite out of all the ones that I've read. I love that character. So,
Cool.
but yeah, it's my favorite. But thank you so much, Omar Tyree. I will be definitely continuing following you. I will definitely be going on Amazon Prime. I need to get this book, the first book that you wrote, Colored on White Campus. You said you changed it, though, to College Boys. So I'm definitely going to get that. Be checking out your Instagram followers. Those numbers going to go up a little bit. And, yeah, thank you so much. I'm so honored. I appreciate you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And, yeah, you got to support the brand. It's the whole brand of Omar Tyree. So everything I do, we got to support it, knowing that if this pushes him forward, he can do Flyy Girl. And that's the truth. It's not game. That's how it works. If I don't have a brand that anybody cares about, it makes it really hard to go to economic finance people and say, hey, I'm hot. I need to do something. They're going to say, what's the numbers? That's how they are, you know. So thank you guys.
Absolutely. And I'll definitely be in contact. I appreciate you so much.
Okay, now. Thank you.
Absolutely.
That's right, you guessed it. We're back with another segment for the comedy. So get your laughs, your giggles ready, your favorite emoji for the comment section. Make sure you follow, like, and subscribe to the page, because today we have a returning comedian hitting the stage. He was so hilarious the last time that we brought him back for a second go around. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the comedy stylings of Mr. T.
What up, what up? Simmer, simmer. Hey. Simmer down. All right, talk to me. I want to talk to y'all about something, man. Black-owned business. That's right, black-owned business. Supporting one another. All right. So, look. When you go to Walmart, right, you don't complain when that air fryer costs $150, or you get a Vitamix blender $500. You don't trip. Black Friday come around, you ordering the PS5, gifts for your kids, you doing whatever. You don't think twice about the price, right? But when sis selling them waist trainers, she charging too much. She charging too much. Or when you see your homeboy, or somebody you know, like, yeah, man, I'm trying to get this little business, off the ground, you know what I'm saying? I'm selling this little ebook, I'm selling these little t-shirts, man. Support me, man. $20, man. $30 for a shirt, man. Fuck with me. Bro, man, that's too high, man. $30 for a shirt? $40? Why you can't support your mans? Why you can't support sis? You know what I'm saying? When the Beyonce tickets come out and they be $1,000, 2 bands front row, yes, Queen B, you do whatever to get them tickets. But your homeboy need $5 to come see him at your local open mic. You won't even give my man's a five spot. You know what I'm saying? A little 10. Come to the open mic. We gotta change it up, man. We gotta change it up, people. You know? We gotta support one another. We gotta support. You support me, I support you. You scratch my back, I scratch your back. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's that simple. It's that simple. But I ain't gonna lie, I think we really do support one another. You know what I'm saying? They try to say crabs in a barrel, crabs in a bucket. I think that tide is turning, you know? I think we starting to support. Shoot, I be supporting the OnlyFans. I support my community. Oh, damn, she got an OnlyFans? Bet, let me I subscribe to 99, yup. I support my community. You know what I'm saying? I support my people. I want to see what she working with. See what that be like, you know what I'm saying? I support it all day, every day. So I ain't gonna sit here and be like, oh, we don't support one another. You know what I'm saying? We support. You know what I'm saying? We support. They try to say we don't, but we support, you know. Like, think about this. Before Donnie was president, the orange man, you know what I'm saying? Before he was president, we wasn't really on it like that. But he was so racist that he forced us to support. Ain't that crazy? My man stirred the pot. He was so racist, we said, damn, I gotta fuck with my black people. I gotta fuck with you, because they don't fuck with us. They hate us. They killing us. Like, damn, they don't give a fuck about black people. They ain't black people. We need to come together, y'all. We need to come together, man. For real. Massa gonna get us. If we don't work together, we don't stick together. And that's what we did. It was beautiful to see. I actually like that. And so, if I would take anything positive away from Trump being president, you know, other than the bullshit, he woke black people up. For real. You know what I'm saying? He made us come together. Kumbaya. Otherwise, I don't think we would have came together like that. So I can't even say, oh, it's crabs in a barrel. I think we work together. There's so many examples I could get. I see people every day on Instagram and this black business and this person doing this and these people working together. We working together, y'all. Good job. Good job. Good job. We doing it. We doing it. We making it work, man. We making it work. We making it work. I appreciate y'all for letting me share the stage. You know, come and talk to y'all real quick. You know what I'm saying? Working together. Y'all supporting me. Support my black-owned business. Listen to these black-ass jokes that I got. You know, shout out to Queen for having me. I'm going to catch y'all later, man. Y'all be smooth. T. Wyatt, I'm out.
Yes, yes, yes. You already know what it is. It's your girl, Queen. You are currently tuned into Heavy is the Crown. This is episode 10. I just want to give all my gratitude once again to Omar Tyree. Thank you to the legend Omar Tyree. Everyone, please go follow his Instagram. Only the number one, Omar Tyree. He talking about he only has 8,000 followers. I don't even have 8,000 followers on IG, so I guess I need to step it up myself. Everybody, please go make sure to follow him and to support his projects on Amazon Prime. I'll be sure to put everything into the description so you'll be able to check that out. Also, please just support him because I don't know about y'all, but I really want to see a film of Flyy Girl, damn it. Like, I think that we earned this. Okay? My good guy Omar Tyree might want to get with Ryan Hugler, to see what his secret was to getting that deal. Big shout out to comedian T. White for delivering the funnies on his segment Talk to Me. I really love that segment. I hope that all the listeners are enjoying it. And yeah, just thank you to all of my listeners, everyone who's downloaded. It's episode 10, guys. I'm so freaking excited. I know it's just a small celebration, but as y'all know, I always celebrate my small wins and my big ones. So everyone be sure to go on Instagram. Follow me as well at _heavy is the crown, because clearly Like I said, I need to get my followers up as well. Black people, let's continue to definitely support one another, supporting one another financially with our businesses, even just promo, kind words. And let's just continue to also mind our black ass business. We got some new people in the big house, downtown DC, and let's just continue collecting ourselves and let's continue practicing on unifying with one another. But until next time, guys, I love you all. It's heavy.
Make sure you tell a friend, like, share, comment, subscribe to the page, Instagram, YouTube, iHeartRadio, all media platforms. Is heavy is the crown.